Hello, third grade. Our target for today is I can read and write numbers up to 9,999 in expanded form. Words to know. These are some words you'll need to know for today's lesson. Digit. A digit is a single whole number, any number between 0 and 9. Value. Value is how much a number is worth. Place value. Place value is the value of a digit based on its place in a number. Let's take a look at an example of digit, value, and place value. The number 432 has 3 digits, a 4, a 3, and a 2. The digit 4 has a value of 400 because it is in the hundreds place. For the last 2 days, you've learned about standard form and word form. You'll remember that standard form is the normal way we write a number. Here is an example of the number 5 written in standard form. You'll also remember that word form is writing a number in words. Here is an example of the number 5 written in words. Today, we're going to learn about another way that you can write numbers. This way we're going to learn is called expanded form. Expanded form is a way of writing numbers so that you show the value of each place. Here's an example of the number 4,029 written in expanded form. 4,029 written in expanded form would look like 4,000 plus 20 plus 9. We're going to learn a lot about writing numbers in expanded form today. Expanded form is a way to write numbers so that the value of each digit is shown. Here you can see the number 1,267. This is a 4-digit number. We're going to learn how to write this number 1,267 in expanded form. We'll start by thinking about our greatest place value. Our greatest place value is the thousands place. There is the digit 1 in the thousands place. The value of this 1 is actually 1,000 because it is in the thousands place. The next place value is the hundreds place. There's a 2 in the hundreds place. This 2 has a value of 200 because it's in the hundreds place. Our next place value is the tens place. The digit 6 is in the tens place in this number. The value of this 6 is actually 60 because it's in the tens place. Our final place value is the ones place. The digit in the ones place is a 7. The value of this 7 is 7 because it is in the ones place. If I want to write the number 1,267 in expanded form, I'm going to stretch it out to show the value of every one of these digits. To write 1,267 in expanded form, I would write it 1,000 plus 200 plus 60 plus 7. You're probably noticing there are plus signs in the expanded form, just like you might see in an addition equation. These plus signs show that each of these different values, 1,000, 200, 60, and 7, are all part of the same number. They go together. The plus signs show that they're all connected. 1,267 and 1,000 plus 200 plus 60 plus 7 are actually the same number, even though they look different. Let's talk a little bit more about writing numbers in expanded form. You've already learned that when we want to write a number in expanded form, we have to stretch it out to show the value of each digit. We're going to use this place value chart here to help us stretch out or expand the number 4,671. We'll start with our greatest place value, the thousands place. I see there's a 4 in the thousands place, and I know that the value of 4,000 is 4,000. Now I'm going to think about the hundreds place. I see that there's a 6 in the hundreds place, and I know the value of 600 is 600. Now I'll think about the tens place. I see that there's a 7 in the tens place. I know that the value of 7 tens is 70. Finally, I'll think about the ones place. I see that there's a 1 in the ones place. I know that the value of 1 is 1. If I were to add 4,000 plus 600 plus 70 plus 1 all together, I would see that that equals 4,671, because these are all the values of each digit. When you add them together, it equals the total number, or the number written in standard form. If I wanted to write the number 4,671 in standard form, it would look like 4,000 plus 600 plus 70 plus 1. Now let's talk about what you would do if there's a 0 in the hundreds place. If a place value is not included in the expanded form, we write a 0 in the place of that standard numeral. Here's the number 5,108. I see that there's a 0 in the tens place. So when I go to write this number in expanded form, I'm not going to write anything for the value of the tens, because the tens have no value. They have 0 value. 5,108 written in expanded form would look like 5,000 plus 100 plus 8. Since there are no digits in the tens place, there are no tens written in the expanded form of the number. Let's think about the number 6,032. I see that there's a 0 in the hundreds place. So I know when I go to write this in expanded form, I'm not going to write anything for the hundreds, because the hundreds have no value. 6,032 equals 6,000 plus 30 plus 2 in expanded form. Since there are no digits in the hundreds place, there are no hundreds written in the expanded form of this number. Sometimes we're going to write, no. Let's think about the number 7,651 and write it in expanded form. We'll use this place value chart to help us organize our thoughts. Remember, we're going to stretch out that number 7,651 and expand it to show the value of each place, starting with our greatest place, the thousands. The value of the thousands place is 7,000. Now let's think about the hundreds place. The value of the hundreds place is 600. Let's think about the value of the tens place. Well, the value of the tens place is 50. Let's think about the value of the ones place. The value of the ones place is 1. So when I expand 7,651 to show all of the place values, I get 7,000 and 600 and 50 and 1. If I wanted to write 7,651 in expanded form, it would look like 7,000 plus 600 plus 50 plus 1. Ooh, let's do a trickier problem now. Let's write 5,803 in expanded form. I'm noticing there's a 0 in this standard form number. I know that when I get to the place value that has a 0 in it, I'm not going to write anything because there's no value to write. Let's go ahead and start with our greatest place value, the thousands. The value of the thousands place is 5,000 because 5,000 is 5,000. Now let's look at the value of the hundredths place. The value of the hundredths place is 800 because 8 hundreds equals 800. Now let's think about the value of the tenths place. This tens place has a 0 in it, so it doesn't have any value. When we have a number written in standard form that has a 0, meaning there's no value in a place, we don't need to write anything in expanded form. There's no value to write. Finally, let's look at the ones place. There's a 3 in the ones place, so the value of the ones place is 3. If I wanted to write 5,803 in expanded form, it would look like 5,000 plus 800 plus 3. Let's do one more example together. Here's the number 3006. We're going to write it in expanded form. What is the value of the thousands place in this number? You're right. The value of the thousands place is 3,000. Now think about the hundreds place. What is the value of the hundreds place in this number? You're right. The hundreds place has no value. The value is 0. So I'm not going to write anything in the expanded form version of this number. There's no value to write. Let's think about the tens place. What is the value of the tens place? The value of the tens place is 0. It doesn't have a value. So when I go to write this number in expanded form, I'm not going to write anything for the tens place because the tens place has no value to write. And finally, think about the ones place. What is the value of the ones place in this number? You're right. The value of the ones place is 6. So if I want to write 3006 in expanded form, what will it look like? 3006 in expanded form looks like 3,000 So if I wanted to write 3006 in expanded form, what would it look like? 3006 written in expanded form looks like 3,000 plus 6. Very good job, third graders. Now, third grade, we're going to take numbers that are written in expanded form and write them in standard form. Before we do that, we need to talk about what you do when there's a missing place value. If a place value is not included in the expanded form, then you write a 0 in that place of the standard numeral. For example, here we have 4,000 plus 500 plus 30. I'm noticing that in this expanded form, there's no value in the ones place. So when I write this in expanded form, I'll put a 0 in the ones place. So when I write this in standard form, I'll put a 0 in the ones place. 4,000 plus 500 plus 30 equals 4,530. Since there are no ones included in the expanded form of this number, there should be a 0 in the ones place of the standard numeral. Let's look at another example. Here's 8,000 plus 20 plus 8. I'm noticing that there's no hundreds value in this number. So when I write my number in standard form, I'm going to put a 0 in the hundreds place. 8,000 plus 20 plus 8 equals 8,028. Since there are no hundreds included in the expanded form of the number, there should be a 0 in the hundreds place of the standard numeral. Let's do a couple of examples together. Here you can see I have a number written in expanded form, 2,000 plus 700 plus 40 plus 5. I need to write this number in expanded form. Again, I can use my place value chart to help me organize my information. I'm going to start with the number with the greatest place value and then move to the next smallest one and so on. I see that the greatest place value is 1,000. There are 2,000. Then I'm going to think about my hundreds. I see that there are 7 hundreds in this number. Now I'll think about tens. I see that there are 40 or 4 tens in this number. And finally, I'll look at my ones. I see that there are 5 ones. If I wanted to write this number in standard form, I would know that there are 2 thousands, 7 hundreds, 4 tens, and 5 ones. So in standard form, this number looks like 2,745. Let's look at another example together. Here's the number 7,000 plus 20 written in expanded form. Let's go ahead and use our place value chart to help us organize our information. Let's start with the thousands. What's the value of the thousands in this number? There are 7 thousands. Now I'll think about my hundreds. I see that there are no hundreds in this number. Now I'll think about my tens. I see that there are 2 tens, or 20, in this number. And now I'll think about my ones. I see that there are no ones. When I go to write this in standard form, I'm going to think about how many total digits will be in my answer. I know that the greatest place value in this number is thousands, and I know that thousands numbers have 4 digits: a thousands place, a hundreds place, a tens place, and a ones place. My answer, written in standard form, should have 4 digits in it. If a place value doesn't have any value, I need to write a 0 there. So when I put 7,000 plus 20 in standard form, it looks like 7,020. Because there is no hundreds value, I put a 0 in the hundreds place. There's also no ones value, so I put a 0 in the ones place. Remember, you need to have the right number of place values in your standard form answer. If it's a number that goes up to the thousands place, it should have 4 digits in your answer. Let's look at one more example. Let's look at one more example. Here's 3,000 plus 300 plus 3. Let's go ahead and write this in standard form. Let's start with our greatest place value, the thousands. How many thousands are in this number? You're right. There are 3 thousands in this number. Because the thousands is my greatest place value, I'm already thinking my standard form answer will have 4 digits. Now let's think about the hundreds place. How many hundreds are in this number? You're right. There are 3 hundreds in this number. Now let's think about the tens in this number. How many tens are in this number? Ooh, I thought I could trick you, but I see that I can't. You're right. There are no tens in this number. Finally, how many ones are in this number? You're right. There are 3 ones in this number. When I go to write this number in standard form, I'm going to remember that there should be 4 digits because it's a thousands number, so it'll have 4 place values: thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. I'm going to write this in standard form with 3 thousands, 3 hundreds, no tens, and 3 ones. The standard form of 3,000 plus 300 plus 3 is 3,303. Thank you, 3rd grade, for practicing writing numbers in expanded form with me today. We're going to learn more about standard, word, and expanded form tomorrow.